Hey, so if you're anything like me, you've been working a lot with AI this past year, and you're curious about how artificial intelligence is going to impact your creative career. You know, whether this is going to help your output quantity or quality, or optimize your creative department, or whether it's going to reduce you to a quivering, outdated meatsack in a world of charming and efficient robotic overlords. Look, we already know that Chatgpt can write well enough to replace a mediocre to good copywriter. But what about video? Because that's what I'm interested in. It's what's driven my career, and frankly, it's what I think people are still most interested in producing and consuming these days. There are, in theory, a ton of great, new, cheap, and free AI tools that let you create great ads, great videos in a fraction of the time. Again, in theory. So I thought I would sit down, having little technical chops other than the Adobe suite, and I would sit down and I would try it out for myself and make a vlog walkthrough of my experience. In fact, my plan was to do this entire video using only AI tools from the writing to the final output. Yeah, it didn't work out. I failed. And I don't just mean that I failed because the creative outputs that came up were mediocre or underwhelming or batshit crazy, though spoiler alert, they were, so stay tuned to see that. No, I failed because apparently my humble little MacBook was just no match for this bleeding edge AI technology. And no, it certainly wasn't a fault of this blameless AI programs which kept crashing. And so yeah, my screen recording files got all corrupted, and I had to assemble this the old-fashioned way in the end. Okay, now the task I have at hand today, for those who don't know me, I am a creative executive with a long track record in advertising, marketing, and branded content. At this point, I've probably worked for hundreds of brands, from Dos Equis to Pepsi to Amazon to Netflix to American Express to Microsoft, just about everyone. But my website's a little bit out of date, so I need to update that. And I thought I would convert some of my old case studies into new AI video. What better way to show off my brand new groundbreaking AI skills, which I totally have, and I'm not just winging for the sake of this video, than to do it on my own site, right? Now, the old meatsack way that I would have to complete a case study video would be as following. One, I would just write the narration. Two, I would record it. Three, I'd pick stock video or use whatever existing video assets I have. And four, I'd plop it all together in Adobe Premiere with music that I find. It would generally take me only 1 hour to do this, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to see what I can get with 1 hour of work on each of these apps. Now, Pictory is the very first program I used. It's a browser-based program. It has pretty basic use cases, you know, script to video, video to text, etc. Now, for all of these, what I'm going to be doing is I'm starting with a pretty recent-ish case study. This is my Super Bowl commercial from last year for the Botanist Gin. It went pretty well. I already have some good enough copy on my site written for this. That's a really good thing I do, because right off the bat, Pictory reveals to me that it is not about to write my script for me. Nope, that is not a functionality that Pictory seems to have. So okay, what I have to do is just plug that copy right in, and it takes it just fine once I kind of maneuver things around. Although I pretty swiftly figure out that you do indeed need to put a line break wherever you want a new shot to come up, so I do that. I pick the settings so that it would automatically select visuals, select stock photography. It wanted me to pick a template, and by template they just mean like the font and the caption of the style. But of course you can remove that font and caption pretty easily in case you don't want text on screen for whatever reason. So I picked standard. I picked to make a square video like for Instagram, and then I immediately changed my mind and I wanted to go back and pick landscape, and this absolutely broke Pictory. Yep, it did not like this little change of heart I had. The audacity of me pressing the back button ruined this program completely. So that sucked. Yeah, so I had to completely reboot the site and open it up again, create an entirely new project from scratch. Not helpful. Now, it did take a couple minutes, certainly, for Pictory to think this through and make it, but that's okay. It also kept trying to sell me on their like 40% off coupon, which is kind of just like, show me that you can do the job first, then maybe I'll buy. Word of advice. So it did do the job of picking B-roll for me without me having to select piece by piece, and then had me pick my voiceover voice, my audio. I wanted a male voice. I'm American, so I wanted American. In fact, there's even one named Tom. Now, I didn't really like any of the voices, to be quite honest, but we are going with a guy named Tom because that's my name and it's a really cool name, bro. So you get the job. So Pictory churned and churned and churned, and finally, I get to see the masterpiece. Et voila.
How best to introduce this high-quality Scottish gin to Americans in 2022? How about the Super Bowl itself?
So my first thoughts are, this is very bad. Like, half the stock video makes not a lot of sense.
The results? Great unaided recall.
The line, how best to introduce this high-quality Scottish gin to Americans? They show me a guy's dirty arm. Is he doing something with gin, or is he just a Scotsman? I don't know. The line, I created the botanist's first ad. They show a scientist in a lab. Like, that's me. I guess I'm the ad scientist.
And when the botanist realized they only had 2 months to conceive, produce, and release a big game spot.
To conceive, produce, and release a big game spot. And they show me a video of a precious little baby in a ball pit. I guess because I used the word conceive, I think maybe it thinks I want to make a baby, which, I mean, I've been there and I'm good. But yeah, we literally cannot have a baby in an alcohol spot. So you gotta go.
And a wonderful kickoff to a delicious new relationship.
Okay, so basically now I have to go back and I have to change certain words manually or give it more direction of what images to choose. I also need to choose the music. It does let you choose by mood, filter by mood, and I chose swaggering. You know, I've been said that I've had some swagger in me at times. Not at the current time, in my 40s, but, you know. Long story short, I did get something in my hour with Pictory, and here is that something.
How best to introduce this high-quality Scottish gin to Americans in 2022? How about the Super Bowl itself? When the botanist realized it had only 2 months to ideate, produce, and release a big game spot that would tee up the brand and its dedication to helping the restaurant workers of America, they came to me. From scratch to final delivery in 2 months. I created the botanist's first US spot, along with their social media presence. The results? Fantastic unaided recall, thousands of new followers, and a memorable kickoff to a delicious relationship.
Okay, it's time for Pictory's final scores. For churn time, I'm giving them a D. It was a weight. For tedium, like how, tedious is it to use this app, they get a B, not too bad. For cool factor, they get a C, because it's like, meh, it's okay. And then for the effectiveness of the overall product, I also give it a C. Like, maybe if I had added my own voiceover, maybe if I had taken more time to find the right stock, then this could have actually turned out okay. So I crunch all those numbers. Overall, Pictory gets a C. You pass Pictory, but I don't think I'm going to be using you every day. Flicky was the second app I tried, another browser-based one. This has a couple of other kind of cooler features, as its literally 5-minute tutorial let me know. It seems to have a better selection of voices. It also lets you pull in copy from like a link or a tweet, and it also generates new copy for you, like Chatgpt, as well as AI art, like DALL-E or Midjourney. So I was excited for Flicky. Right off the bat, I ran into problems though, because it wouldn't accept my copy. Like, it did not tell me that there was a character limit for my video, but there obviously was. And frankly, that's kind of awful, because what if I do want to make a video that's longer than a minute? I guess Flicky just won't allow me to. So that's good to know. But after fiddling around with that copy field forever, I got the bright idea of just trying the make a video from a blog feature, and I posted the link to my portfolio page that has the Botanist Gin spot on it. I was not prepared for the result. Here it is.
Writer, creator, executive, advertiser, Tom Woodley. Delve into the exciting world of Dos Equis, featuring the brand's iconic, most interesting man. Explore various themes from Halloween parties to GILI games. Next, connect with the humorous side of life with content like sex-positive slasher and 90s obstacle course.
It didn't parse the botanist copy, it parsed the entire site's copy, and it made a video about me.
Dive into unconventional festive themes with 'Twas the Night Santa Got High.
Like, it tried to advertise what you can do on my portfolio, which is literally only look at the shit that I made for clients. But it made a video about me, like as a literal god, right? For whatever reason, it keeps placing what I guess it thought was me in like these Don Draper offices and libraries, keeps giving me these glasses and luxurious beards with elitist classical music. And it's just like, for those of you who know me, so on brand, right? This is so on brand. Like, how did it know? Up until this point.
Shift gears to the comedic realm with high comedians.
Where, yeah, that's both problematic and deeply disturbing in like an uncanny valley way. So no thank you. That was awful. That ate up the entire first half of the hour. In the second half, I just went with my existing copy again. And it auto-selected the stock video. This was an extremely tedious effort. It kept making me like auto-pick each slot rather than like doing it all at once. But when it was all done, it was terrible. So like for the shot where I mentioned the Super Bowl, it showed a picture of a bowl on a railing in a forest. For the shot we're talking about me working with clients, it showed two deers ramming their heads together, which, like, okay, not a bad metaphor for client relationships sometimes, but not necessarily something that I want in the video.
That would tee up the brand and its dedication to helping the restaurant workers of America. They came to me.
This guy's looking at a thermometer that's not even on. So almost none of the stock footage was usable. When I tried to manually look for footage, it was all locked up. You had to pay for it all. So with time running out, I tried to give the AI generate a spin. I was really hoping it would give me actual AI generated video, but what it actually gave me was AI generated still frames that jumped around a lot. But my hour was up. Here's what Flicky made me.
The Botanist Gin. How best to introduce this high-quality Scottish gin to Americans in 2022? How about the Super Bowl itself? And when the botanist realized it had only 2 months to conceive, produce and release a big game spot. That would tee up the brand and its dedication to helping the restaurant workers of America. They came to me. From scratch to final delivery in 2 months, I created the botanist's first US spot. Along with their social media presence. The results? Great unaided recall. Thousands of new followers. And a memorable kickoff to a delicious new relationship.
Man, I don't know. All right, here's the results. Churn time, solid C. Not too bad, not too good. Tedium, D. This was a tedious process. Cool factor, on paper, B. Like there's some cool features here. Effectiveness, all right, you get 3 grades here, Flicky. For that first blog piece, that's a solid F, although thank you for making me look cool. For the stock photo piece, you gave me D, and eventually when I picked it and made myself for the AI generated, that's a C. So overall, Flicky gets a C-. Okay, and on to the third and final AI piece here was the software Descript. So Descript was not going to be my solution for making a video case study, but rather for putting all of this video together in the end. What Descript allows you to do, on paper, is to plop a video or audio file into it, have it be transcribed, and then you can actually edit your video by copying and pasting the text, which I think is really cool. Because, you know, I'm a copywriter by trade, first and foremost. Lord knows I'm used to quite a bit of copying and pasting. Half the time, that's half the job, if we're being honest. So this feels like it's super easy, going to be super intuitive for me to do. Descript made me download it onto my desktop. You know, for some reason, I guess I just assumed that all of these were going to be browser-based apps, but okay. And to be honest, most of the better part of an hour was spent merely trying to get this thing installed. But on paper, this is cool because it lets you detect different voices. It lets you auto-remove all of your ums and ahs and pauses, gives a pretty decent transcription. It also says it has some features like automatic eye contact to the camera, so I can be all like this, but it looks like I'm still looking at you. It does take like 2 hours, though, to transcribe a single video, so that's not great. And then I went through and I actually tried to do the copy, paste, and re-edit to get only the good stuff of my walkthrough. Yes, there was good stuff there. How dare you imply otherwise? And then I exported. Cool. Yeah, that took like 3 hours. And when I exported, surprise, surprise, I found that I converted my video file to an audio-only file. Oh, and not just the export, the original file too. That's right, the original screen recording was now a completely messed up file that Premiere wouldn't even recognize. Very cool, Descript. So long story short, I'm going to give it another try, but super not helpful so far. Results for Descript: churn time, F. Literally hours and hours. Tedium, C. I mean, you do have to kind of go through and do it piece by piece. Cool factor, again, on paper, B. But effectiveness, of course, in F, because it ruined my files and I had to do this entire thing a different way. So overall, a D from Descript, maybe an incomplete. So that's about it for Pictory, Flicky, and Descript. I don't know if I'm going to be recommending any of these to anybody anytime soon. But maybe you've had a better experience, or maybe a worse one from any of these individual apps. If so, let me know. Or if you want me to review another app, feel free to send it my way. I'm happy to do so. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, I guess, if you want to see whatever I put out in the future. And just in case you're wondering, no, I did not get any sponsorships from Pictory, from Flicky, or from Descript, because if I had, I probably would have reviewed them better.